Oh, too late. Hello, all. Hi. Hi, I'm Casey Durango of Go Keto with Casey, and I like to talk about how I have lost 97.4 pounds since starting the ketogenic diet and how you might be able to lose weight, improve your health, and regain control of your life. And it looks like I've got the wrong camera set up. Let me see if I can edit this. This looks terrible. Anyway, I'm going to start talking, and I'm going to try to do something at this two things at the same time. Probably won't work. Um, So, after all my work on getting my webcam set up, and then I didn't do it right. Hi. Hello, everyone. I will say hello to you as I can do so. Today, I want to talk about getting back to basics. You know, we're approaching mid-year. We're approaching that time where maybe we've been on this protocol for maybe we made a New Year's resolution. So maybe we started at the beginning of the year. Maybe we started January 1st or New Year's 1st. And now we've gone through the winter months and we maybe had some success. And then maybe spring came, and then maybe a couple of holidays, and then people have birthdays, and maybe we've realized maybe this is not working the way it was. What's going on? I guess the ketogenic diet just doesn't work, at least not for me. In my experience, what really needs to happen is sometimes we just need to get back to basics. It's just that simple. The protocol, for those of you who don't know, is quite basic in itself. Keep your carbohydrate intake to 20 grams or fewer a day, total, not net. And I keep looking at the webcam, so I'm probably looking like I'm looking over your heads. I'll try to remember to look down here. Total, not net. Eat fatty sources of protein. Don't eat if you're not hungry, and stop when you're satiated. That's the protocol. It's very, very simple, which is not to say easy. And I hope you guys can hear me. I'm using my fancy microphone. Is it turned on? Yes. And I don't know if you can hear Atticus panting, but he's very excited. He thinks he's going to get fed right here. It's so basic that some of us are not even comfortable with the simplicity of it. It's like, it's got to be more complicated. There's got to be more to it. I must need to go ahead and buy a whole bunch of things, a lot of books. I need to buy some kits. I need to buy an instruction manual. I need to load up on apps. Do that if you wish, because whatever works for you is great. And some people, frankly, do not feel like they're doing anything if they're not spending money. I, for my part, really like not spending money. But it is a direct protocol. Keep your carbohydrate intake 20 grams or fewer a day, total, not net. Eat fatty sources of protein. Don't eat if you're not hungry. Stop when you're satiated. Now, the thumbnail that accompanies this video, I keep looking. I'm going to move this webcam so that I don't keep looking at it. The thumbnail that's on this is actually the background image, the kind of blurry, is actually just the food list I followed. That's literally it. And you can find that at my blog if you wish, but there are food lists all over the place. I can just tell you what I did. I followed that food list. And it just, CaseyDurango.com, resources, Casey's food list. And I didn't make it up, by the way. It's just the one I followed. But if you kind of fall back to that, because what we do is we sometimes find that we start, well, I've got this. I've got this nailed. I'm going to give myself a little break. I'm going to eat a few more carbs. There was that office party, and somebody brought in their famous strudel. So I'm just going to have a piece of the strudel. That's fine if you want to do that. You're not a criminal if you eat food. But then you might forget that you decided to eat the strudel, and then 10 days later you're wondering, why have I put on 5 pounds? And why do I have cravings? And why all of a sudden am I thinking about food when for the last 3 or 4 months I haven't been thinking about food at all? And why are my joints hurting again? Now, you might say one piece of strudel is not going to do that. One piece of strudel can do that to some people. One candy bar, a handful of cookies, some M&Ms. It does not take much. And it doesn't have to be sweets. It can be a hoagie sandwich with the roll. It doesn't take much. And then we forget it's, some people call it carb creep. Some just go in for a carb onslaught. Or you try screwing around with recipes to figure out fake versions of what got us in trouble in the first place. The people with whom I speak and from whom I hear that have had the most success have just swallowed the protocol. They didn't play. No fake baked goods. No alternate flours. Certainly no so-called cheat meals or cheat days, which is just illogical on the face of it. Oh wow, whenever I eat strawberries, I break out in hives. So I'm not going to eat strawberries so I don't break out in hives. But I think I'll just have a cheap strawberry shortcake every once and again because that'll shock my system into never having hives again. It's not the way it works. If something is not good for you, it's not good for you. And that's for your body. Some people can do perfectly fine eating everything that ends up in front of their face. They're healthy, they're happy, they're trim, they're well-adjusted, muzzle tough. Many of us are not that. And I'm guessing if you bother to watch this, you're not that either. I'm not that person. So as we kind of go on, we can get a little lackadaisical. We can take it for granted. We can let things kind of slip. We can say, well, I'll get back on that Monday. I'm just going to take a little break now. If that works for you, great. I'll say it again. If it works for you, great. But it doesn't work for a lot of people. And if you're wondering, also keep in mind, I don't eat nearly the amount of food that I ate the first year and a half, 2 years. I've been doing this for 5 years. I've been essentially weight stable for 2 years. I'm happy where I am. I would like to lose 2.6 more pounds so I can say that I lost 100 pounds. I've lost 115 and a half pounds off my heaviest that I know of, but 97.4 since doing the protocol. But I'm okay, but I'm essentially weight stable. But the first year, a year and a half, 2 years, 3 years, I eat more food than I do now. And we forget that. Our energy requirements change as we get older, for one, and by definition, I am older than I was. I'm smaller than I was. I'm at that stage of life where things start to change quickly as far as my fuel requirements. I'm 61. So I need less fuel in general than I did when I was 30 or 20 or 40. I certainly need less fuel than I did when I weighed 115 more pounds or 100 more pounds. I'm not hauling around 2 giant sacks of dog food on my shoulders. Imagine walking around with that. And you can figure out, you probably needed more fuel just to keep everything pumping. I need less. But that doesn't mean you're changing the protocol. The protocol has it all laid out. It's all beautifully written. Keep your carbohydrates to 20 grams or fewer a day, total not net. Eat fatty sources of protein. The third piece, don't eat if you're not hungry. And stop when you're satiated. Even as your body changes, the protocol doesn't. Because as you become smaller, fitter, older, more efficient with our energy intake, and this is a very efficient way to fuel our bodies, we need less fuel. An energy efficient home uses less electricity and natural gas. An energy efficient vehicle uses less gasoline. An energy efficient human requires less fuel as well. And we are more efficient when we burn fat for fuel, and the food we consume following the protocol is so nutrient dense that it's more efficient. You get more bang for the buck, as it were. You get more miles per gallon. So get back to basics. If you have found that I just don't feel the way I used to, my energy's not great, the pounds beginning to creep back up, weight fluctuations are understandable. If you get to be more than about 4 or 5 pounds of weight fluctuation, maybe 6, you want to start thinking, okay, what's up? What's up? Let me fall back to the basics. Just go back to the basics. If you need to tell yourself, I don't eat carbs out loud, we use that around Go Keto with Casey. So that's all it is. Stick with the protocol. The protocol has not changed for me since I started. Note, there were no mention of the M word, no counting grams of protein or grams of fat, no counting calories. Never did. The protocol, 20 grams or fewer a day, total not net. Eat fatty sources of protein. Don't eat if you're not hungry. Stop when you're satiated. Not stop when you're full. There's no rule that says you have to eat until you're about to pop. You don't want to walk around like a little tick, fully engorged. That's it. Now, I do want to turn my attention to those of you who have bothered to show up. Thank you so much for being here. Hi. And I like to recognize folks. Hello from the UK, Devon. Good afternoon. From Ellen in Greensboro. Hey, Ellen. Hey, Lady Birdie going to come to our Go Keto with Casey meetup at Wine Style? Is it friendly? I hope so. Hey, Nilaja, were you the one that made the nice mention on Instagram? Congratulations to you. What a joyful post that was. If that was not you, I apologize. I do want to give a quick shout out to patrons, who some of whom I see. Patrons, I continue to do public content because I feel to whom much is given, much is required, much is expected, and much has been given to me. And if somebody can be helped by hearing an example of a middle-aged woman who had given up hope of ever losing weight, I wasn't even trying to lose weight when I started this, I just didn't want to take insulin for diabetes, then that's fantastic. But there are patrons at patreon.com who pledge, allow me to do this. I was able to leave my day job, which is what I look at Patreon for, people who leave their day job and are able to do their calling. So thank you very much for that. And for those of you who don't know, we do about 7 or 8 of these patron-only live streams a month. And it's a little different thing because people get to know each other and they do more of their talking than I do. So they get to know each other's stories and we catch up with each other. And then I do about 20 patron-only videos a month, little short snippets in the morning, 8 to 15 minutes long, without makeup, bedhead. Some mornings I look like the crypt keeper, except that I realize I actually look like the crypt keeper's older sister some mornings. And then patron-only video group sessions and one-on-ones with me, depending on the pledge. So thank you very much. Okay, Joan writes, I'm 3 weeks in and finding my oldest child, 23, and also overweight, trying to sabotage my choices. She's vegan, pushing all the buttons, tried to educate her, but it's stressing me out. Joan, we actually we were just talking about this on Patreon this week. Our kids, sorry, I'm obsessed with my hair and it sticks out in all the wrong places. It's not just our kids, all sorts of people, whether they even realize that they are sabotaging or not. Ultimately, why your kid? Now, did your child try to push veganism on you when you were simply eating a standard American diet full of carbs and normal food, stopping at McDonald's? Or is it the idea that this is a fatty source of protein, heavy protocol? Doesn't really matter. She doesn't get a vote on what you eat, nor do you get a vote on what she eats. You might think she's cockamamie for being vegan. I mean, I don't care what someone else does. But she doesn't get a vote on what you eat. So don't let it stress you out. It is difficult. Adult children can be a challenge because they're adults. And yet, sometimes they're still knuckleheads. And sometimes they're perfectly smart and legitimate. You simply have a difference of opinion. That happens. Don't let it stress you out. She doesn't get a vote on what you eat. Hey, Di, you are so sweet, Di. You needn't do that. Hi, sweetie. I'm considering going to the next step to carnivore. I barely eat veggies anyway. Any experience or thought on that. And Di, you're very kind because you're already a patron. You needn't have even done that. But thank you for the super chat, which means your comment gets pinned to the top. I am very close to being carnivore, but not for philosophical reasons or anything other than as I listen to my body and as I'm fueling myself, I find I simply am not interested in vegetables for the most part. There are times when I say, I could really go for some asparagus or green beans or Brussels sprouts, whatever it might be, and I eat them. But because I'm eating so much less food anyway, I'm going to start with the fatty source of protein on my plate. And sometimes I just don't get around to the green beans. Some people feel much better that way. And I tend to think I do. Our body chemistries change, as we get older, as we become fat burners. I tend to feel better just on my nice, luscious, fatty sources of protein and a bit of dairy. Hey, Melissa. I so appreciate your no-nonsense approach to living this way. Thanks for your help as I enter year 2 of the rest of my life on keto. Thank you, Melissa, for the super chat, and congratulations on 2 years. And, people have asked me, okay, now that you're pretty much near goal, I would like to lose a little bit more. In 2.6 pounds, I could probably stand. Frankly, I don't think I would be afraid if I lost 10 more pounds. I don't know. I don't need to medically. My doctor's happy with my weight. I'm happy with my weight, and I'm happy with my clothing size, and my health is perfect. But people say, as you approach goal, what do you change? I said, not a thing. If you listen to the protocol, don't eat if you're not hungry. Stop when you're satiated. It's self-regulating. You don't add back in carbs. You may, if your body has given up all the body fat you want it to, you may increase your dietary fat at that point, but I am not at that point. If I was 8% body fat, maybe I would increase my dietary fat. I'm not at 8% body fat, which you can tell by looking at me. And if you saw me in person, you'd really know it. Barbara Force writes, hi, Casey. Thanks for being here for us from Charleston, South Carolina. Barbara, my people from down in Charleston, my daddy's people down on the Battery. My grandfather was born on Calhoun Street and went to the Citadel. My daddy went to the Citadel, and 2 of my brothers went to the Citadel, and all my brothers, my paternal uncles went to the Citadel. Hey, Lori Markham. And I love how you guys answer each other's question. Okay, what did Nancy write? Nancy Fennel writes, been keto 2 years, size 32 to 16 now. Still doing it because it works great and makes me feel great. Nancy, congratulations. That is astounding. Astounding. And accolades all around. Bobby Ryder writes, celebrating 1 year keto anniversary today. I'm down 40 pounds. You know what? And that's fantastic. Some people people say, I've only lost 40 pounds in 6 months. And so around Go Keto with Casey, we eliminate the word only. You wouldn't say, I only put on 40 pounds in 6 months, but you are celebrating your weight loss, Bobby. Fantastic. And for those of you who don't know, I was a normal, gradual loser. I had a lot to lose, clearly. I'm 5'1". So losing 97.4 pounds on that frame is a lot of weight to lose. The first year, I lost 47 pounds, almost exactly. That's on average less than a pound a week. And I was thrilled. And then the next 2 years it took to lose the next 50 pounds. And I was thrilled with that. Hey, Barb, thanks for the super chat. Is there a protocol for how much water I should be drinking? I will quote Dr. Eric Westman of Duke University, and I will tell you what I do. Drink when I'm thirsty. He says, drink when you're thirsty. He says he has no idea where this idea of 64 ounces or half your body weight in ounces of water a day. He says, just drink when you're thirsty. Some people swear by it. I'm happy with myself. Some people say our skin will improve. I'm happy with my skin for the most part. A little jowly. And I'm crepey and I'm wrinkly. I'm 61. I've earned it. So I would say, Barb, oh no. Do what you like. I drink liquid all during the day. I start off with coffee in the morning, have 2 or 3 cups of that, and then I have non-sugar drinks or water, sometimes with little mosquitoes that have fallen into it. I am in the South after all. Mary Lopez writes, love you, Casey. Fell off the wagon, struggling to get back. Thanks for the inspiration. And thank you for Mary for the comment. It happens. And people say, how do I get back on? The next time you eat something, leave off the carbs. The next time you eat, leave off. Don't wait until Monday. Don't wait until the start of another month. Don't wait until the new season of Game of Thrones comes available on your streaming service. Start right now. Next time you eat, leave off the carbs. Joanne writes, hi all. And hey, Vita, happy Sunday, Casey and crew. Stay strong and stay keto. Anita is a patron. Thank you so much. Bonnie writes, interestingly, that when I fall off the wagon, I find it's just overeating low-carb, high-fat foods, just eating when I'm not hungry. And that I would say, hey, Marie, I've been known to eat when I'm not hungry. It happens not all the time, but it happens because, I don't go out of ketosis and I can tell and I can predict, but it generally does not have too much of an impact on me. Might be 1.5 pounds, 2 pounds up, but then I just, go back to it. And sometimes I actually say out loud, I don't eat if I'm not hungry. I don't eat if I'm not hungry. We say things out loud at Go Keto with Casey. We might sound like lunatics, but what we tell ourselves either inside our own head or outside when we hear ourselves say it is very important. It's impactful. Lee Jeffries, do you give any credit to those weight and height charts? Should you reduce intake to get to that weight, or will your body know when to stop losing? I don't give any credit to those height and weight charts. Those are made up by insurance companies. Can I tell you? Actuarial tables and medical offices, so the doctors don't have to think too much. But if you line up, there's a very interesting visual meme. You've probably seen it. It's like a dozen women standing in short shorts and exercise tops. And they're all shades, ages, body types, body composition, heights. They all weigh 150 pounds. And you wouldn't be able to believe it. I just say, I'm wearing, I wear a size 6. I started at a 24W. Everything else I wear is a size small or a petite small. My health is good. My health is perfect. Perfect. Not just kind of better, it's perfect. I'm going to live forever. Of course, I'm not going to live forever. And tomorrow was promised to no one. But no, I wouldn't give any credence to that. I certainly wouldn't listen to BMI. That was never even intended to be about people's weight. It was a mathematician came up for that for statistics for entire populations of people 100 years ago. And he wasn't a doctor, he's a mathematician. Lori, hey Lori, was in a stall for about 6 weeks, cut back on cheese and extra dairy. Scale is moving. I cannot tell you how many conversations we have had at our Patreon group about cheese. Cheese is one of those few foods that's on the list. Now, keep in mind, it's not unlimited. It never has been. It's a couple of ounces a day. But it's one of those foods, it's easy to unconsciously eat, mindlessly overeat, and get way over 2 ounces a day. So good for you. Hey, Wanda, honey bun. Kim and I want to come back to Greensboro. Love the time we spent there. I would love to see you. I do want to also give a little plug for our upcoming 2020 Go Keto with Casey cruise to Alaska. We had a great time at the cruise this past March in the Western Caribbean. And I'm adding to the page. I'm going to put it up here right now. We have about 62 people who have reached out with interest, and some people are looking for cabin mates. Deposits aren't due until October, totally refundable until December. We're going to have a great time. My husband and I have already booked, and he and I are going, whether anyone else does or not. So it should be fun, and it's going to be all about the attendees. I've been asked, when will the list of speakers be published? Some world experts are welcome to join us. But as far as I'm concerned, the stars of the days at sea and the presentations will be those attendees who are willing to share their stories. And I will put together before and after stories of theirs that they allow. They can get up and speak, share their experiences. There's a woman who has lost 211 pounds. She's coming on the cruise. She's fantastic. Fantastic. And she's done this by keeping the basics. She never went off the basics. And she will tell you her story. So those will be the stars of the show on the days at sea. There will be some other presentations. I'll be presenting. I'll be presenting. We'll have games. We're going to have a good time. Lots of excursions. Okay. Nine Life says, Casey, your thoughts on adrenal fatigue? I've seen some YouTube people talking about it and linked to being on keto. Would love to have you down here in Alabama. Y'all, I would be happy to go and do road shows anywhere. The venue is always the challenge. If you can figure out a way to get me down there and cover the venue, I'm there. I'll tell you what I will quote Dr. Stephen Finney. I think I'm quoting him fairly accurately. When asked about something similar, he said, I do not put a lot of stock in trying to treat medical conditions that do not show up anywhere in the medical literature. There are people there are internet personalities who appear to be very knowledgeable, who will tell you about things that you must do or be fearful of this on keto, but do keto, but just to stave off any problems, take these pills or these shakes, or here's a kit you can buy. No, this is a very nutrition-dense way to eat. There's no reason any part of you should get fatigued. My opinion. I'm not a doctor, not a PhD. I'm not a researcher. I'm a former fatty who's got some really smart friends who are doctors and PhDs and researchers, and I'm privileged for that. But I'm just a well-educated, highly motivated, well-informed former fatty who had given up. Irina Jaime, thank you for the super chat. Can you give advice on how to differentiate when you're hungry or just bored, and satiated versus full? Those are great questions. Yikes. The not eating when not hungry is the most challenging part, and was the most challenging part for me. We eat out of habit. I've got magnets in my swag department at my blog. $5 magnets. A big magnet says, are you here out of hunger or out of habit? It's a picture of a refrigerator with open doors. And then below that it says, if hunger is not the problem, food is not the solution. So differentiating, what I started to do was push the peckishness. I was a little bit hungry. Yeah, I could eat. But I pushed the peckishness, and I went for hours not feeling any more peckish until finally, whoosh, maybe 5 or 6 hours later, yeah, I need to eat now. I'm empty and hungry. The idea of being satiated but not full, that's another thing. It takes about 8, 10, 12, 15 minutes for leptin, the satiety hormone, to get to our brain to say you've had enough to eat. But if we're eating our fuel in 8 minutes, we have finished the plate of fuel before the signals up top saying you've had enough. Slow down. Our friend Helena has implemented a mid-meal break halfway through, however much her plate of fuel is, however big it is. She stops. She throws in a load of laundry, checks email, whatever it might be. Waits a few minutes, comes back, and very often says, I don't want the rest of this. It's not that, I can resist it. I don't want it. That's satiety. I don't want it. So it's the last two hardest parts. The unkindness of ravens. Thank you for your super chat. Let me get this back up here. The good thing about Super Chat is it stays at the top. I can click on it. Started back to basics yesterday after last week's video. Thanks for being as frank yet kind as you are. Oh, excuse me. I need to make sure of something.
You were saying?
No, I'm not talking to you, Siri. Excuse me. Just want to make sure that's not my son or my daughter-in-law. But we are waiting on his prescriptions. He's woozy. Our son suffered a grievous injury and had a serious operation yesterday, facial reconstruction. So I was just checking he's being discharged. Thank you. Sorry for that personal break, but always got to check. And if it's the kids or my husband, they got to let that text come on through. Tough love, not tough love. But the thing is, we tend to want to make this more complicated. We also tend to say, because we've been conditioned to believe it, that it's just harder when life is stressful, or that we use food to cope with our problems, where clearly we use food to not cope with the problems. We use food to deflect from our problems. We have been conditioned that if we are sad, have suffered a grievous injury, if we've had a fight with our spouse or our boss or our best friend or our kid, that Little Debbie's are the answer, or Godiva. There is a fast food chain, I believe it's Wendy's, that actually advertises something to the effect of, you've had a hard day, come here for your cheat meal, or maybe two. Really? Is that helpful? I don't think that's helpful. So we do need to be kind to ourselves. We need to be kind to others. But we also need, I try to close off most of my morning snippets at Patreon. Like I said, about 20 a month. Plus, I really appreciate the patrons giving me topic suggestions, because I've done like 390 of these snippets. I try to sign off by saying, be kind to yourself, be firm with yourself, be honest with yourself. Because those things really are integral. Sometimes we're harder on ourselves and say things to ourselves and about ourselves that we would never think of saying to or about other people. But sometimes we also give ourselves a big pass on things when we wouldn't give somebody else a pass. Oh, really? You skipped school again? You probably had a rough day. No problem. No. Stop skipping school. And other things. You can fill in the blanks for the things that you would not give someone a pass. Hey, Christine, it has been a long time, sister girl. She writes, hi, Casey. I've been away for too long. Lost 60 pounds and type 2 diabetes reversed. Felt so good. I went back to work. Too stressful. Christine, you had a stroke. Neurologist said no keto. 45 pounds came back. Starting over. Christine, I am so sorry. I know you were so enthusiastic, and I've been wondering about you. Why would the neurologist say no keto? Is it like people who are eating the standard American diet never have strokes? I'm so sorry that happened, but I know you're a strong person. You will make your own decisions, but under a doctor's care, I'm sure. Allie Mill writes, it's hard where I live to snack out. Restaurants are fine though. Don't snack. We tell ourselves we need snack. Don't need snack. Don't snack. If you must, I've tried to stop labeling my fuel. I tried not to even call it food. And that sounds really precious. But we're in this thing, breakfast, lunch, dinner, snack. What constitutes a dinner? What constitutes breakfast? What constitutes a snack? How big is a haystack? A haystack is as big as it is, right? So what constitutes a, quote, meal? It can be 2 boiled eggs. It can be 1 boiled egg. Some people would call that a snack. Some of us might call that my fuel for the next 4 hours. So I really try to get out of the mindset and try to encourage others to do so as well. Get out of the mindset. We are stuck in this food mindset. We do not need to be micromanaged on how often to go to the bathroom. We don't have an app for that, most of us. We don't need to be micromanaged on how to go to the grocery store and pick out, oh, that's a bad analogy. We don't need to be micromanaged on how to drive our cars. We learn to drive and then we drive the cars. Things fall into, but we have given over our decision-making process about something that is one of the most elemental things we do as humans, as a species, which is how we fuel our bodies. We have given over the decision-making process to apps, to charts, to medical providers, to the media, to so-called experts. You know who's an expert on how your body needs to be fueled? Your body is the expert. Don't listen to freaking Jillian Michaels, knucklehead. Don't even listen to some people who are pro-keto, because they're knuckleheads too, because a lot of times they just want to sell you something. Here's what you need to purchase in order to be 100% successful at this protocol. Nothing. Nothing. There is no product, food or otherwise, that you must have to be 100% successful, other than whole fatty sources of protein that you're going to have anyway. Get the food that you've always eaten. Just leave off the carbs. Leave off the carbs. You don't even need a measuring cup. Keep your carbs low. Eat fatty sources of protein. Don't eat if you're not hungry. Stop when you're satiated. I have missed a super chat, and I want to go back up here. Hey, Susan, how are you doing? I thank God for you, Casey. I have prayers for you and your family. Thank you very much, Susan. He's a strong guy. He's one of the best looking guys, my son, you've ever met. And just because I'm biased does not mean it's not true. And he has always had a gorgeous face. And now his face will be just gorgeous in a different way. But he's above ground, and his brain was protected. So we are happy for that. Thank you. And Susan, I hope all is well with you. It's been a while. And I know you had a couple of challenges as well. So I hope all is well. Okay, guys, I'm going to start to wind up. Susan writes, people are shocked because I say I don't eat carbs. Why are they shocked? Where was everyone's concern for our well-being and our health when we were tossing back triple servings of French fries? No one said boo to us, right? Oh my God, you left off the French fries? Oh my God, you're eating that cheeseburger without a bun? Are you crazy? You're going to kill yourself. But if we eat the cheeseburger with the bun and the fries, no one says a thing. No one gets a vote on what we eat. No one gets a vote. No one gets a vote. Our spouses, our adult children, our best friends, our coworkers, our doctor. Who's an expert on how to fuel our bodies? Our bodies are. Sometimes not even our brains. Our bodies are. Listen to your body. It talks to you. Our bodies talk to us. By the time we get type 2 diabetes and rheumatoid arthritis and Alzheimer's and acid reflux and irritable bowel syndrome, our bodies are shouting at us. So how about we just take the hint and let them talk to us in normal tones? Unkindness of ravens. At Texas Native, I so need a cardiologist that is okay with keto. My doctor freaked out and wants me on a vegan diet that I don't prefer because carbs make me depressed. Can I tell you, there are a couple of cardiologists you can look up. Dr. Brett Scher, you can see his lectures on most of the low-carb conferences. Brett Scher, S-H-E-R, I think it's one R. He's out of California. He's a cardiologist. Asim Malhotra out of Great Britain. He's taking a lot of heat, but he's a cardiologist out of the UK. Watch his presentations and maybe turn your cardiologist onto it. Okay, guys, have a great weekend. Thank you for the super chats. Thank you for the support. Thank you for being here. But most of all, congratulations to those of you who have started this process, or at least curious enough and open-minded enough to ask about it. For those of you who are celebrating milestones and anniversaries, Support each other. And keep in mind, you never know who's seeing you. You never know who's paying attention to what you're doing. You never know who's hearing you, even though they don't acknowledge it. You don't know how many lives you impact of those around you. Christine, take care of yourself. I'm very sorry to hear of what's going on. Have you checked in with Dr. Westman vis-a-vis the stroke and seen what's going on with that? Nadir Ali, yes, also is a good cardiologist. There are plenty of cardiologists who are 100. Dr. Westman has cardiologists at Duke who send their patients to him so that they can get healthy enough for surgery. And then sometimes they end up not needing the surgery. Okay? Thank you. Check out the cruise page. Even if you're not keto, even if you've got friends who aren't keto, we're going to have some great group events. It's going to be fun. It's not a profit center for me, I promise you. I have a savings account just started so I can, so we could pay for this and enjoy it to its fullest. We're booked stateroom 1533, aqua class. And check out patreon.com. Thank you for the support. I appreciate it. God willing and the creek don't rise, I'll be back here next Saturday to have another chat. And if you have suggestions for topics, you can let me know. I don't know that I'll get around to them because I hear from a lot of people. I probably should not have just said that because I get a lot of messages, which is great. Okay, thank you, Unkindness of Ravens. You're always so generous and thoughtful. Wanda, thank you for the birthday wishes. And Wanda writes, my heart doctor said he has lots of patients who are now doing better on low carb diets. Thanks, Wanda. Do svidania. Adios. Ciao, bella. Toodaloo, caribou.